Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Iman and I am watching Vinland Saga today. I'm so excited. This is episode 3 and it's called Snake. If you are new here, welcome. I am starting to do these I'm reading these quotes from the beautiful Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. This book is called Life's Journeys according to Fred Rogers. And I've been wanting to kind of just have like an uplifting quotation read every episode of Vinland Saga. And I guess I'm doing it with my other reactions to other TV series as well. But I just feel like I want to give back. You guys are watching these videos, so I want to give something back too. And these quotes have been very helpful for me. And I sort of picked them at random, and I felt like this one was it stood out to me, so potentially it could be helpful for somebody who's watching this. And then we'll jump into Vinland Saga and enjoy this season. We'll jump into Vinland Saga and enjoy this episode. But I'm gonna read this first. I feel like this is helpful. It was helpful for me when I read it today. It says, letting go is seldom easy, whether it's letting go of our children, our parents, or our childhood feelings. But just as the root systems of plants often have to be divided for healthy growth to continue, the different generations within a family may have to pull apart for a while for each to find its own healthy identity. I thought that was really important to hear. And it could even go along the lines of, for Vinland Saga too, I see that, a lot of the pulled, let's see, in the series, people were pulled apart, not necessarily by their own choices, but it was like, you had to do that. Thor's was called away, Thorfinn was a stowaway on his ship, and all these things happened. Helga and Ylva are alone, but everyone's growing in their own ways now, but not necessarily by their own choice. It was just kind of like what happened. And we've seen different growth, like Thorfinn now where he's at. He's grown a lot since being a stowaway on that boat, and now with all the trauma he has developed with everything he's done, it's just like, where does he go now? The same thing with Einar. Where does he go now? But the thing about, I guess, in those of us who are lucky to not be in a war-torn country or to not live in poverty, we have like the opportunities. Not that if you do live in those types of places, you don't have an opportunity. Everybody has an opportunity, but man, it's really ridiculous to say that, to see the obstacles. Everyone has obstacles in their lives. So the more privileged you are, the easier it is, and to kind of achieve your dreams or your goals. Of course, there's those people who are very privileged, but there's mental blocks. And you're like, how is this person not able to achieve something? They have everything. But the brain is very complicated. It will do stuff to you. Sabotage. But I really think that separating from family in some ways is very important, and then always coming back. And that's something I've done. I had to do it finally. And in the last 3 years, I'm just so thankful I did, because I wouldn't have gotten to the place I am today, where I'm now feel like I'm like living in my own life, not a passenger or a spectator. I am the captain. I am the captain now. I am manning the ship, and there's been a lot of stormy seas behind me. So there's lots of beautiful things that have happened, a lot of disastrous things, and I have to kind of look back and see it now that I'm like self-aware, awake. So it's like, oh, it's hard. It's really hard, but thank God that I can man my own ship now. And that had to happen with separation, which was possible to be made because of finances. So it's like, I understand there's these obstacles. Not everyone's able to have finances to separate from family, to do that. And I think family is everything, truthfully, even though I've had my ups and downs with my own. But as I'm getting older, as I'm understanding things more and seeing my family members as just human beings, I can see like, okay, yeah, they struggled horrifically, and they did literally their best. And I couldn't know that as a child. I could only know that as an adult with my own experiences as a parent too. And but that doesn't mean that, you know, you still need to grow on your own. We're all individuals. And so I think it's helpful. I really agree with what Mr. Fred Rogers is saying, is that the different generations within a family may have to pull apart for a while. That's the key word, for a while, not forever, for each to find its own healthy identity. And then you can come back and help your family after you've helped yourself, get yourself out of the survival mode. Once you're out of survival mode, that's when you can finally live and actually do things and really make choices for yourself. And yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know. Maybe you'll find out at some point. But that is really what it is. Thorfinn is in survival mode. He had been in survival mode. He's in a much better place than he was. He's not having to look over his shoulder every second. Who's going to try to kill me? Who's going to kill me? Who do I have to kill? Who's my enemy? Who's my enemy? You know, Thor said, no one's your enemy. And so now he lives in peace, I guess, for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see him finally get a footing and then getting out of survival mode. And then, yeah, I really wish I was reading the manga. But again, I want to be able to react to this like blindly and just see what happens. But I probably will read the manga later, like after the series probably. Because I really just truly believe that this is one of the most important anime right now. And I want to talk about I'm just getting excited. I really want to talk about Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga. And honestly, a lot of anime. You know, I have Berserk. That's been a thing that I have the manga here. I always have it somewhere. You could see it. I'm a huge fan of Berserk. And I read it when I was really young, and I'm rereading it really slowly. But you know, I've been talking about how I'm really sensitive right now to like gore and violence. It's just something that I'm just trying to stay away from, and for the most part. And I just feel like a lot of anime recently is so violent, and it's all about, we need to kill each other. Everyone's our enemy. Everybody. In every single anime, it's like everybody is my enemy. That's one reason I really liked slime. That one time I got reincarnated as a slime. Like that surprised me when I was watching the first season, which I do plan to watch the second season, but let me breathe, guys. I just need to take some moments. Because even his enemies became his friends, and you end up learning like everyone wants to just live a happy life, a pretty comfortable, happy life, and work together, and we all really need each other. So that was a really cool message. And of course, fighting happens. It's not like we do not live in a perfect world. So I understand that it's necessary to fight, but I think that at least there is this message, because Vinland Saga has fighting. My brain's going all over the place, but what I'm trying to say, I bring up Berserk, I bring up Vinland Saga, I bring up Attack on Titan, because I think I don't know, the Berserk is so different, because Berserk, Guts is fighting literal demons, so you kind of have to give him a break. I don't think that the fighting and the killing, it made sense to me in Berserk. I guess it's a lot, but it made sense to me. And there is more than, it's more than just killing. It's such a important story. But yeah, I think, oh, I'm going to go on a little rant. If you want to skip to the reaction goes, I'll have Rick, if you put the timestamp where the reaction starts, I am going to have a little bit of a rant. And maybe I'll dive into it a little bit deeper in a separate video, because I do want to do this. As I'm watching Attack on Titan, especially where I took a break and then I came back to it, I was just so frustrated by the comments, because it's so strange to me how people could be okay with genocide. And it was like this thing with Eren. Like, I kept trying to figure out what is Eren trying to do? Why is he wanting to do this? I know why. He's filled with rage and anger and no peace. He's literally Thorfinn, but not waking up to it and not realizing he needs to do better and needs to be better. He just didn't have that example. His father was not truthfully, his father really wasn't good either. Like, his father did a lot of crazy stuff to achieve what he achieved, and I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, I think I'm just a bit frustrated because we live in a time, and I think every time period is like this, where there's people who want to do the right things, to take care of each other, and then there's people who want to tear it all down. And I feel like that's the message of Attack on Titan. And the message of Vinland Saga is, no, we need to start from scratch. Let's work in the fields again. Let's take care of each other. It takes much more time to build life, to create life, than it does to take a life. And you know, seeing warriors like Thor's running away and coming to a place where he realized he wasn't a true warrior. What he was doing, taking a life every second, that was not a warrior. A true warrior is keeping people safe, people happy, comforted, taking care of one another, taking care of the land, working with the environment. It is, and so it's so interesting to me, as in my journey of growth and learning about, because I'm not trying to say like I have, you know, this is the thing about like reactions, and it's cool because you can see my own journey. If you ever have the time and want to watch the person I was watching Attack on Titan in the first, second, third seasons, I'm not that person anymore. I was very much like, yeah, let's kill everyone, yeah. And then I've changed, and even though it's a TV show, I understand some people might say, well, it's a show, you're not really wanting that. But I really think it does desensitize us to our realities. What we behold, we become. We do need to be more careful what we watch. And so my hope for Attack on Titan is that it does end in a positive way. But I don't know. My complaint is, it worries me, the comments that I was getting, and I'm sure other reactors were getting, which was like, we're on Eren's side no matter what, ride or die. And it's like, what? How? What? Am I in the Twilight Zone? Is this the Upside Down? Are we in another? How are we all? How can we see two different things? But that's really what it is. Everyone has a different perspective, and that's something that's so important. Again, for the show, it shows that so well. And yeah, I don't know. It just makes me sad, I guess, because I don't think people really realize. Look, I don't know. I just hope that Isayama ends it the way I'm hoping he ends it. And I feel like, because I don't know if any of you have seen Nausicaa. Nausicaa has a lot of, Attack on Titan has a lot of similarities to Nausicaa. And even like some imagery is it's like Isayama took the same stuff from Miyazaki. But if you've seen Nausicaa, it ends in a really beautiful way. So that my hope is that as dark as Attack on Titan is, that Isayama ends it in a very similar way to Nausicaa. But it might not be. Isayama might be like, no, the world is horrible. This is just the way it is. The world is bad. But then there's people like Miyazaki who's like, no, the world is good and you got to take care of each other. It's just so cool. It's just really interesting to see the difference of perspectives of all of us, and in just different anime and different books and movies and what we're drawn to. And it doesn't mean we're better than someone else or worse than someone else because we like something. I just think it's interesting what we are drawn to. But life is about evolution. Life is about growth and change and developing oneself to become better. So what a long message here. You know, what else is this? What the heck else am I supposed to do? I'm like, this is the like, what am I'm just supposed to sit here and react? No, there's life happening right now. Time is passing us by. I want to talk about things. I want to talk. We have other channels that have it a certain way, and you can go and watch them and feel however you want. But this is like, we got to do better. All of us. We just got to do better and just talk to each other and like try to relate to one another and just listen a little bit. Yeah, that's my journey is let's talk to one another, let's listen to one another, and let's grow and help each other grow, give each other a helping hand, a kind word, a kind voice, a smile. Yeah, kindness. All right, that's it. I'm going to jump into this episode. This one's called Snake. That usually means someone is a backstabber, so we'll see what that means here. All right, I'm ready to jump into this. I love the voice acting in Vinland Saga. Speaking of fighting and battling and killing. Oh, here we go. Fighting. Wow. Ooh. Are they not gonna go through? And you do? Snake, so who's the are they gonna kill him? Oh my god, okay. Oh wow. Man, this is a lot.
通過儀礼っていうの？それだけでね。人を殺すっていうのはね、すごく自信がつくんですよ。
The worst advice. This is what I was just talking about. This music. I always loved when this came on in the first season.
人間にビビらなくなる。
No.
一皮むけますよ。
Where's Thor's ghost when we need him? Oh man, this is the advice so many young men probably get and have gotten.
初心者には初心者用の獲物ってのがありますよ。ちゃんと。この農場にも。
Thorfinn and Einar.
殺してもいい人間っていうのがさ。
Oh my god. Snake. I mean, that's basically what I was saying. It's like, who you listen to or what you behold, you become. If this is the way of being a warrior or a man, but this is the thing, this is life. Everyone has a different perspective of what it means to be a good person or a strong person or a warrior. I wonder why the young master is so baby-like. Because his father seems so wise and kind. And this happens. I know, like, this happens. You can do your best sometimes, and just kids grow up a certain way. Great. And I don't think Thorfinn wants to. I don't know if Thorfinn's at that place where he's not killing anymore. And they have no idea. They have a target on their backs now. He's always hungry. Oh.
Thorfinn! どうしたおい寝ぼけてんのかおいThorfinn! 大丈夫かお前むちゃくちゃうなされてたぞどんな夢見りゃそんなにうなされんだよ
Horrible.
忘れる夢ってのは忘れた方が
私はもう済みましたから
いやはいすいませんごゆっくりいやもう小高を洗ったとこでどうにも寝りゃしませんので
素敵なお顔だと思いますよ大丈夫ですかどこかお加減が
いやちょっと胸が
まあ大変痛むんですか
いや大丈夫です
何か忘れてはいけないそんな夢だったような気がする
旦那様のご息女様では
Oh.
いいえ違うんですよ
I thought that too.
私はあなたと同じ奴隷です
Oh, wow.
旦那さん
おはよう諸君。なんだ朝から奴隷が集まって逃亡の相談か。
Man, these guys.
おはよう
トルフィンとエイナル。ちょっと顔貸せや。
When you can look at human beings as literal fodder, like
俺たちに会うってろくなことじゃねえだろうなやっぱ
素敵なお顔だと思いますよ
Aw. Wow. Yeah, what the hell?
若様が大人になるための儀式だ。死んでくれ。
As he says it with a smile and a kind face.
ただ単にお前の命がお前のものじゃないっていうそれだけのことさ。正当な持ち主が自分のものをどうしようと勝手だろ。
But he's the master's. He's not the master, though.
大丈夫だよ。
Jeez.
何やってんだ行けトルフィン
He has no idea.
俺が切られますよ
それいけ若様。
そいつは仕事に戻してください
Oh, Thorfinn.
私が切られます
Yeah, I mean, he has no hope, really. He's done so much. He's like, I deserve it anyways. I don't know how he's sleeping like that.
じじい、俺の朝飯はじじい。
自分でなんとかせい
クソじじい。
Damn
飯
you!
なんか作れっかよ、めんどくせえ。
Why? Who are you? Who are these spoiled brats?
エイナルは仕事に戻してやってください今日も忙しいんで
なんだって
Dang.
君ね、自分の言った言葉の意味分かってる？切られるって死ぬってことなんだけど。なあ、トルフィン君。俺たち戦士の扱う商品って何だと思う？死だ。怖いからこそ価値がある。そうでなきゃ 剣で飯なんか食えなくなっちまうぜ。
That's true. Oof.
ああ、もう腹減った。おい、チンピラども。
Okay, so he's a part of this crew too.
やめろー。くしょー。ストデラスども。
Oh my
俺
gosh.
早くしねえと小さい体がもっと小さくなっちまう。
My goodness.
なんで死ぬのを怖がらなくちゃいけないんですか。俺はなかったよ。今まで生きてきていいこと一つもなかったよ。
Oh my god.
やめろキツネ。
Man.
ヘビ。
Oh, he's Snake. That's so interesting. Kitsune and there's a badger and then there's the snake.
ひでえなこりゃ。ありき。
Oh, he's the boss.
近い俺。ははい。
Oh my
アナグマ。はい。
god.
説明。
No, no, no. No, it's done. This is so unfair. Like, the episodes are so quick and then so... People need to be watching this anime. So many people need to be watching this anime. This is, like, so weird because what I was talking about in the beginning between... Like, there's these weird parallels between Eren Yeager and Thorfinn. Eren is in the same boat. I don't think since childhood he has not I don't think there has been a moment he wanted to be alive either. Like, this man does not want to be alive because he's been through hell. He's literally seen hell. So why would he want to be alive? He has no hope. Thorfinn is in the same boat. I want to go back to that part right here. Of all the years I have lived, I have never once been glad that I was alive. Yeah, I mean, this is so important. You know, how many people feel that way in real life? Like, so many people feel like this. And when you are in this place, how do you get out of it? How? When you have no hope, and there is you use your own body as, like, you know, a punching bag, literally a cutting bag. There is no hope for so many people. Their hope was killed when they were children, and it's difficult because that's why I'm saying it's so important. Like, what we're watching, what we're listening to, it's important. We have to have hope. But the thing is how. That's where it is how. There's an important part of in The Last Samurai at the end, when Tom Cruise's character goes to the Emperor asks him how, what was it? Was his name Tanabe, the samurai warrior, who ends up dying on the field? He asks him, "Can you tell me how he died?" And Tom Cruise's character says, "No, I'll tell you how he lived." And I thought that always stayed with me from the first time I ever watched that movie. We need to know how do we become this place? How do we get to a place of discipline in our life when we never had that structure or that discipline instilled in us? How do we get there when all we've seen is disaster, pain, sadness, no hope, abuse, berating from your mother, from your father, from your family members, from friends, so-called friends. Everyone is dealing with something. So Thorfinn, especially right now, he is so relatable to so many people. There has been times, I mean, I've been in this place where this is where I like to bring my life into this, because it's like explaining my experience. And I've not been in war. I've not killed anybody. I've never dealt with this type of PTSD. So many people have dealt with this PTSD, hands-on, going to the war, going to different wars, coming back and being completely changed. How do you live a normal life after you've done some of the things you've done or seen some of the things you've seen? And then this world, this society expects you to come back and just be completely normal. It's crazy. It's I was going to say ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but it's crazy. It's crazy. It's psychotic what this structure that we've built. It's psychotic. It makes zero sense. I have not been in this situation like this. But when you are when you're a young person and you deal with instability, when you deal with everyone else who's supposed to be there to support you, can't do it because they're stuck in their own extreme pain, and nobody knows how to do anything. Everyone's stunted at like 10 years old, but they're your parents, and people don't want to believe this because we want a villain to be the villain. We want there to be a villain. But for my research and what I'm learning about the brain does stop growing in certain parts when there is abuse, neglect, and trauma. Your brain will stop. So you have arrested development, which is what that show is all about. A bunch of adults acting like 12-year-olds, which is a fantastic show, but that's what the whole point is. Arrested development happens to most of us who've been neglected in some way, and some of our parents purposely were abusive, and some of them just didn't know what they were doing, and they were just truly doing the best that they were doing. And abuse comes in so many different forms, not just getting spanked, hit, or tortured, although those things happen to people too. But it's just not being there, not being present is so crazy. It's just like when you can see, as a kid, for me, I saw everyone around me struggling. Everyone was struggling, everybody. And it makes you scared when you're a kid. Like, who do you go to confide in? Well, I don't want to confide in them because they're struggling, and like, kids are smart. We see things as kids. You just don't have the tools or the communication skills to express yourself or how you even feel. So you can't even come to yourself and be like, everything's okay, I got it under control, because you're a kid. So when you see things as a young kid, like Thorfinn did, like I have, like so many people watching this have, you start to lose hope. So the child brain is full of hope, imagination, creativity, and dreams. And with suffering comes the diminishing of that light and that hope. So by the time we are adults, like for me, I hit 18, 19. I was so not who I was. Like, as a kid, I was just so different, and I rebelled and went into alcohol and went into all of that lifestyle. And it was because I was trying to self-medicate. I was trying to figure it out. I didn't know what to do, and it's so much complex than what I'm explaining. There's so much, and I don't have the time to do that right now. But you just become somebody that you would not be proud of, really, as a kid, looking up at yourself. And then you just live in this nihilistic place where I was for a really long time. And because what else is there to be happy about? There is no life. There's no hope. There's no hope. For some people, there really, truly, it feels like there is no hope. And it is their belief system. The thing is, the good news is that hope can come back. Like, we can get back to that place. And that this is where I know this is what's going to be the journey for Thorfinn. We're going to see, rather, what, tell me how he died. No, I'm going to tell you how he lived, so you can pass this down to your family and you can teach other people, because we need to live a certain way and nobody knows how. We all are struggling. I struggled, try to go read this book and go to this therapy and do this, and those were good things and they helped, but like, it had to come down to where I had to stop running to everybody else, like, help me, somebody help me, to come back to me and my faith in God, and not in the way that you might think, but in just the sense of God of, I don't know why we're here, but we're here, we have a life, and really come to that and just take it literally a step at a time to better my life. Take the things that are hurting me out. What are these things? What are the patterns that I'm doing? Okay, I've done this pattern for 10 years now. Okay, I didn't realize I was in this pattern. But now that I'm growing, now that I have children, now that I have other responsibilities, I'm an adult. Yes, my brain is stunted in some ways because of what I've been through, but because of the way brains are, there's a plasticity to our brains, so we can create new neural pathways, new habits that are good, and you just have to keep doing them over and over, just the same way as we do the bad habits. And then when we do the bad habits, we form these long, thick neural pathways that are our reactions. That's why when we get someone flips you off, you flip them off. It's just the reaction. You've been conditioned to doing that since you were young till now. So don't beat yourself up. That's another step. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. You're just a human. Just a human. We're all humans. We're flawed. But the thing is where do we start? How do we start? And yeah, we can start somewhere, anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are, how old you are, how young you are. The younger you are, the easier it is to get on the right track. The older you are, the harder it is to get back on the right track, but it is possible. Anything in this life is possible. There is only time. That's all we have. That's all we know for sure, is that there is time, and each day we get, there is time in that day to do something for yourself. If that means you got to be lonely, that means you got to stop being friends with some people. Remember what I read in the beginning, what Mr. Rogers said, Mr. Fred Rogers. He said, you've got to separate for a while, even from your own family sometimes, to find your healthy identity. And you got to do that with friendships. You've got to, it's hard. Being alone is so hard. And I know that because I've hated to be alone. And that's been a big thing for me too, trying to figure out, well, why? And, I know why. I know the things in my own life now, especially. But after you find out why, then it's like the hardest part, I think, for people like Thorfinn, and Thorfinn is in a much more extreme than I have ever been in. So for anybody who can relate to Thorfinn, hearing me talk like this might sound like too bubbly and too dreamlike, and I can understand that. Like, I'm not trying to say that this is a easy thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's so hard. But somewhere along the lines, you just have to save yourself. You have to stop beating yourself up. Stop. Like, we are all flawed. Everyone on this planet has a flaw, or many flaws. We are flawed. I know we live in a time where your mistakes are who you are. It's a falsity, it's counterfeit, that's fake, that's not real. That's what people want to use so that they can feel some sense of control in this world. And there is no control in this world. We have no control over anything. We have no control over the weather. We have no control over how someone is going to react to us, how they're going to view us, how they're going to judge us. We have no control over the majority of things in this world except us, our own selves. So if you're a praying person, if you're a person of faith, keep praying, keep believing, keep having faith, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not a person of faith, find something within yourself to believe in. Go out into nature. It's very easy to believe in nature when you can touch a tree, you can see a tree, you can see a bird. Pay attention to the bird. Get a little bit out of your own head. Stop thinking about me. Think about others. That's why helping others, people say to help others, it helps you. It does, it's true. So as this goes on, like, I will try to share as much as I can, because again, this series I truly believe is like, especially this season and the seasons to come, it's like, just how do you become a true warrior? And I believe this. We all are warriors, all of us, every one of us. I've always wanted to be a warrior since I was a kid. My hero was Bruce Lee. As a young kid, I've always wanted to help people in some way, and I wanted to be a superhero. I loved the X-Men series. I wanted to help, and I always thought that meant to fight people, to be strong physically, and so we could protect people. I didn't know there's and even Bruce Lee says it's like, it's all about your mind. You got to be strong mentally to be able to help people. It's not about beating up everybody, because everybody you want to beat up also is struggling, and they're your friend. An enemy can become your friend. You know, I don't know where Attack on Titan is going. I don't think we need... I'm going to say this is going to be triggering to a lot of people. Eren Yeager is not a hero. He's not a hero. He's not a hero. He's not a true warrior at all, unless he can change things. And I don't know at this point what is going to happen at the end. But Thorfinn has the possibility and the potential to become a true warrior, just like his father. And I am so excited to see that. And I have that potential. You have that potential. If nobody has ever told you that, well, I'm telling you that because I'm just so sick of this. I'm sick of seeing all this pain around this world. I'm sick of seeing, like, looking at people. I look at people and I see there's so much pain on people's faces. People are so lost and confused, and like, I've been there, and I've just had enough of it. I'm tired of it for my own self. I hate it. I don't want to do the same things over and over. So it's like, how? It's finding the how, and I've found how not to do these things. And it's just living in the moment, learning how, taking breaths, breathing. It's as simple as just breathing. Washing your dishes, making your bed. It's the wax on, wax off. The Mr. Miyagi way. It's the boring, slow way. It takes time. And it won't happen overnight. And even when you are making progress, you will backslide and you will make mistakes and you will think, well, what's the point? But if you have a gift of life today, that's the point. So just keep going. Just keep going. You have to keep going. And I know that that's where Thorfinn's gonna go. And I'm just so excited to see his journey. Yeah. Thorfinn breaks my heart. He really does. His character breaks my heart. I know that he's gonna be okay. But this was like the first part where he needed to admit this out loud. And I don't know who Hebi will be to him. Hebi seems like a spoiled brat, but he seems to have something special about him. So we'll see what his influence does for Thorfinn. I think he's around a lot of good people right now. Einar, Hebi, the master. There's a lot of people that are hopeful and have purpose. And I think, but I really hope they show the struggle of getting out of your misery, because it's not easy. And it, just like I said, it's constant. It's a constant battle. You know, it's constant. It's constant. I am working all day long in my mind. It is constant to stay on track, to keep my mind from veering off and going down these looping paths where my brain wants to go down and think about these negative things. It's like so simple to do that because it's something I'm so used to. The habits that form, again, that's what we're so used to doing, these things. But you just have to keep on the straight and narrow path. It's a very small path. Not everyone's gonna everyone has a chance to get there, but not everyone wants to, because like I said, it's boring. It's very mundane. It's not exciting. It's boring, but then you start to train your brain, and like the little things are what matters. The sunrise in the morning, the way the clouds are shaped, the way that the rain is falling. My cats, my sweet cats, I watch them and I pet them, and there's the small things, seeing the smiles on my kids' faces. These things are just, this is what life is. It's the slow and steady marathon journey, and not everyone wants that. Everyone wants a fast-paced life. It's more fun. It makes you distracted from the pain, and it gives you a sense of delusional power. It's not real. It's not real. And then we wonder why there's so much homelessness, why there's so much mental illness, and why so many people are addicted to drugs and alcohol. It's because no one wants to get to the root of the problem, because that's harder. And again, it's all about making that choice to help yourself. So I leave you guys with this. If you're a person who wants to help yourself and you want to get better, comment down and I'll comment back to you. I have been trying to figure out something on my Patreon. I tried to do it for a little bit and then it just didn't work out, but I really do want to help other people who are like trying, like as like a group, a community. I even on the Discord, I mean, maybe I'm thinking out loud, but I want to do more than just the reactions. I really want to help people who are in this place. Just as like a, hey, check in, how is everybody doing? Like, you know, and what our goals are, stuff like that. As that comes about, I will give you guys more information, but stick by here. And I will, again, this is my thing. Like I have my own issues with like structure and doing things week by week. And like I'm like, oh, that's too much for me, but I need to do it. I want to help people. I think it's time for us to work together and really, you know, just try hard. Just do it. Just do. But yeah, I loved this episode. I loved it. We'll see what that dream was about, that Thorfinn had, and we'll see. He says he thinks it's an important dream to remember. But, you know, he's having PTSD flashbacks. Of course. He has a long journey ahead of him. A long journey of healing ahead of him. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys for listening. For those of you who do, thank you. Please comment down below. I'll talk to you guys, and I'm going to try to create something so that we could have somewhere, at least a place where people can go and just talk about what you're suffering with and the things you have done to make your life easier, better. What is your path to becoming a true warrior? Let's all share that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.